Namaskar, good evening. You're watching Breaking Ground and I'm Swati Joshi. We'll get you the latest on the situation unfolding in West Asia. As far as the ceasefire is concerned, the big question is that on the brink of collapse? Now, Pakistan is preparing to host in-person talks between the United States and Iran starting this Friday. But will these talks even happen? As a fragile ceasefire between the two sides shows signs of strain following Israeli strikes in Lebanon and renewed military exchanges across the Gulf, questions are being raised about the optics of its role. A ceasefire on paper that the entire world celebrated was actually a conditional pause that couldn't last more than 48 hours. Multiple fronts still remain active amidst a bundle of unresolved disputes across Lebanon, Hormuz, and the nuclear issue. After Donald Trump declared two-week ceasefire, Israel pounded Lebanon with unprecedented force, leaving over 250 people dead. Initial signals suggested de-escalation, with a temporary reopening of Hormuz after ceasefire optics. But that relief was short-lived as renewed strikes and accusations quickly reversed the entire situation, bringing the strait back into the center of the conflict. Now, let's take a look at what transpired. So, Day one, ceasefire optics. Iran reopens the Strait of Hormuz and also announced two-week ceasefire. So there was the announcement that came in on ceasefire, after which these developments took place on ground. Global shipping got relief because Strait of Hormuz was open. But look at the reality on ground. On day two, Hormuz shut again. Why? Because Islamabad, the talks announced. The ceasefire was announced. Lebanon was mentioned by some, omitted by the other side. Israel continued its strike on Lebanon. Iran said that Israel and United States of America are breaking the commitment they made. They are not honoring the ceasefire. They are violating ceasefire. So these are the developments that took place on ground. Trump announced two-week truce. 250 plus people were killed in hours when Israel hit Lebanon. Iran said this is a violation of the ceasefire. We have some breaking inputs coming in on the broadcast at the moment. Let's shift focus to that. In a key development, shipping activity is slowly resuming in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, according to ship tracking data, one oil tanker and 5 dry bulk carriers have passed through the strategic waterway in the past 24 hours, taking the total to 6 vessels since the ceasefire. However, traffic remains far below normal levels, highlighting continued caution in that region. So there is a little bit of activity, but a very slow movement. 6 ships have crossed Hormuz after the ceasefire announcement. And remember, we are talking about multiple strikes that have taken place in Lebanon as well, that Iran has called a violation of ceasefire. So despite the developments taking place as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned, very slow movements being witnessed. 6 ships have crossed Hormuz after ceasefire. Let me go across to my colleague Srinjoy, is getting us more details. Srinjoy, people are still trying to wrap their head around the ceasefire and its terms and the strikes that have taken place in Lebanon. Amidst all this, the focus is back on Strait of Hormuz. We're given to understand that some movement has been noted. 6 ships were able to pass the Strait of Hormuz after the ceasefire.
Yes, it's just a beginning. 6 is barely there, considering on a normal day before the war, 125, 130 ships used to pass. But we should be grateful for small mercies. The fact that 6 have passed is a suggestion that perhaps there is a chance that there can be forward movement in the coming days. These next 12 days are going to be very crucial. We have to see what happens on the Straits of Hormuz, what happens in Lebanon, whether Lebanon, Beirut becomes a fly in the ointment. All these things have to be carefully watched. Then, of course, there are the talks. How that will progress only is very difficult to tell. But if there is an opportunity, then, well, let's pray that some forward movement takes place and the ceasefire continues.
What the entire world is hoping for, but given the multiple statements that are coming in from every side, especially on Lebanon, it seems very difficult at the moment. Thank you very much, Srinjoy, for getting us the details. So since we are talking about the Strait of Hormuz and how after ceasefire, 6 ships were able to pass the Strait of Hormuz, slow movement reported. Let's take a look at the area, the route that these ships are taking. The ships are currently allowed to pass through as per the ceasefire deal between US and Iran. And here through the map, we are trying to highlight this safe area, this safe passage. So the ships are taking this particular route. What does that involve? It involves the Keshim Island, and then you have the Larak Island over here. This is the safe passage that we are talking about. We are highlighting the safe route that the ships are being allowed to take at the moment. So it has Keshim Island, the Larak Island, and the Hormuz Island. In all, till now, as per the data that is coming to fore, 6 ships have been able to maneuver, have been able to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. These are all normal shipping lanes. So very slow movement indeed, but ever since the ceasefire has been announced, in all, 6 ships have passed the Strait of Hormuz, and this is the corridor that we have highlighted for you. This is the safe shipping corridor that we are looking at in this area, the Strait of Hormuz. This is the Hormuz corridor. So this is the situation on ground at the moment. But now it appears this safe passage corridor is also under threat, considering the offensive on Lebanon. So will this fragile ceasefire hold? And what's the sentiment